118 of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I am Ray Carcillo in beautiful Los Angeles, California. Joined by my best friend entire world over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and soon to be in Boston, Massachusetts. Lee Elias. Lee, how are you doing?
I like that I'm taking a business trip to Boston. And you use it in the introduction, like almost to use it against me. I'm still waiting for you to use a good descriptive word, like I'm here in beautiful Los Angeles, California, and Lee's over in desolate Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
There's no need. There's no
the
need.
Slums of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'm not there.
You're not actually there, but
no, I'm in a town called Havertown, but that's okay. Ray, I'm doing great tonight. Really happy to be here live on your Twitch stream on a weeknight for a change. And really excited to talk some stuff. It's a little bit of a short week for us in terms of when our last episode
so
was.
It might be a shorter episode.
Yeah, but we got some. Here's the deal: we got some juicy topics, and we have a live audience tonight. So, audience, it's up to you really how long we go. If you want to stay involved, if you like watching Ray play the show or other video games, he thrives on comments, and so do we. We got some cool stuff to discuss. And Ray, I'm actually excited to have your crowd here tonight because I'm very critical of Major League Baseball, and I know that you have some passionate fans on here. And you'll back me up on this. I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy, baseball fans, but there's a reason why I'm very upset with Major League Baseball. And I would actually love your thoughts on that or discussion. So we'll get into that at some point tonight.
Yeah. It'll be a good time. Do we actually want to start with sports this week? We typically start with
whatever you. This is your home. We're in your home. What do you guys want? The people listening, do you want sports first or geekdom first? This is.
Yeah, let us know. We're going to continue the intro. Again, we're doing this special. It's a 6 p.m. here on August the 5th. And then, of course, this will air. It's also, 6 p.m. on Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And this will air earlier than normal. And then we'll go back to our normal schedule for a couple more weeks until football season. Then we'll pick a new day and we might start doing this in the week in general. We got one per. We got two votes.
Oh, man. It's 2-2.
Yeah, we got.
This is good.
We're getting more votes for sports
3-2.
Now. Sensei wants to talk about the new Cobra Kai trailer. That is actually a great topic. It was a teaser. We will mention that though.
Yes.
That is
the lack of trailers from other big properties in comic books. Yes.
Yes. So we will mention that.
I think sports.
I think sports has the lead. We're actually going to kick things off though then with. Welcome. Stream Lounge is here. What's up?
That's brilliant.
We're gonna kick things off with probably one of the bigger stories actually in football this week. First off, tonight is the preseason has begun. It is Steelers versus Cowboys as we are broadcasting. We have preseason football. We have Dwayne Haskins for the Steelers right now in the field, on the field, I should say. But we're gonna kick things off with my New York Giants, because of course it has been a disaster.
You want to fight, Ray? You want to fight?
Yeah. Do you want to fight?
You want to fight?
Let's throw our quarterback under the bottom of the pile.
Ray, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to lie to you. When I found out that he was at the bottom of that pile, part of me was like, I don't know if Ray's going to be happy or sad about this because you were not a fan of Danny Dumpster Fire.
Danny Dumpster Fire of the Dumpster Fire. No, I mean honestly, the only problem is that he is a bad option amongst terrible options. Right. So we don't have anybody who could step in and fill in, although we will get to some quarterbacks moving around possibly next. But for those of you who don't know, there was a hit they started practicing with pads. There was a hit by one of the Giants defenders against one of the Giants. I think it was a receiver. It was a solid hit. It might have been a bit unnecessary, bit extra for practice. And Evan Engram, our horrible tight end who can't catch a pass, who should have been traded in the offseason for draft picks, decides to then push someone from behind. And of course, that set the entire defense off because nobody likes Evan Engram. And then, of course, the offense had to get involved. And Danny Dumpster Fire, ends up at the bottom of the pile, curled up in the fetal position because he's a worthless sack of garbage. And Joe Judge is furious because he's completely lost control of the team. And there's going to be one of two things. The more likely scenario is the Giants are going to do terrible this year. The Giants are going to have 5 wins and 12 losses. They'll finish in the basement with the Eagles, which, by the way, to answer Carter's question in chat, that's Lee's favorite team.
I don't think we're looking at the basement this year, but that's okay.
And I agree with JJ that the defense is more important than the offense, at least for the Giants, because our offense is garbage. And unfortunately, now the team looks like a mess. There is a slim chance that this somehow brings everybody together. Lee, we could talk to that maybe more as a coach, But more than likely, it looks like the inmates are running the asylum. It looks like an absolute disaster. Lee, what are your thoughts on the New York Giants imploding before the season even starts?
Well, I don't think it's as slim as an opportunity as you're saying, because the head coach still has to make a lot of decisions on who's going to make the team. So in my opinion, at this point of the preseason, the head coach actually has most of the power. Look, if he's a good coach, which I believe him to be, believe it or not, he will use this to his advantage and bond the team around it. Sometimes you get that stuff out of the way really early in the season. You can fix it really early in the season. You don't want that to happen week 10, week 11. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's large. It's in the newspaper. If the coach can bring them together after that, assuming this wasn't just ego based, right? So I think it's important. Look, these guys are competitive. They're back on the field. They want to go. All right. They want to make the team.
Yes.
It's a very high pressure environment. Okay. So things like this, fights at training camp are not abnormal. Okay. But when it happens in New York, it's just front page news. That's just the truth. So it's really on him to get them together. It's really on him to get them bonded and get them to understand that, okay, that was it. You guys made the mistake. If you don't come together, we're going to suck this year. And yes, I'm a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles. For those of you asking in the chat right now, born and raised in Philadelphia, very passionate Eagles fan. But Ray will also say I'm a pretty big football fan. Hockey is my number one sport by 5,000 miles. But football is by far my second favorite sport, and I really love it. Carter's saying he's a Patriot fan and don't even want to hear it. You know what? I'll hear what, Carter? I don't think I said anything wrong there. But Ray, like I said, Ray said it correctly. The Giants' defense is their bread and butter right now. And, they need to be leading from the back, right? And see what goes forward. But look, Ray, anything in pro sports, it's an opportunity. This is an opportunity for him to get this together now. I also think it's being blown way out of proportion by the media. All right. Yes. And these fights happen in every training camp around the country. All right. It's just hilarious that Daniel Jones was on the bottom of the pile.
I mean, that's the thing. Of course he was.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Like he's constantly getting stepped on because he's that's what you do with trash. You step on trash, you get rid of it, you throw it away, which will probably happen to Jones after this year if he doesn't step up. Again, this is his last chance. This is his last rodeo for the Giants. If he does not make a Josh Allen like leap from year 2 to year 3,
he's not going to.
He's not going to. And that's it. He's
that's why I don't think
we got a few other
the bottom.
We will see. We've got a few folks in here looking for some predictions. We are going to do a proper NFL prediction show after the preseason, before the regular season.
Yeah,
but I will just say, do want to do it. Yeah, do want to answer a couple of folks here in chat, as it's a lively chat tonight. JJ, who's a Rams fan, thinks the Rams will dominate again. I think that is fair. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what Stafford does. I don't know if their defense, again, a team that is led by their defense more than their offense. But unlike the NFC East, the NFC West is completely stacked. Landon is a Cardinals fan. The Cardinals are going to be better than they were last year. The Niners, I think, are going to have a bounce back year. The Rams are obviously very good. And Seattle's going to hang around. Seattle might not be as strong as they were a few years ago, but they are pesky, and you can never rule out Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be a fun division. That's going to
be a fun division to watch. Yeah. I think we are going to do a more in-depth analysis of the entire league later on. But one of the teams that'll be interesting talking about the thing about quarterbacks and people moving around is that there's a rumor now the Indianapolis Colts are looking to trade for Foles, because of course, as we all know, Carson Wentz is hurt again for the next 6 to 12 weeks. He will be out for the entire preseason and could miss as much as the first half of the season. And the Colts are looking for somebody. They're looking for somebody to fill in, and it could be Nick Foles, one of the best backups ever.
The best backup in the history.
One of the best backups ever.
The best in the history of the NFL. I have stats on my side to prove that.
Right, but he's not the only person to do what he's done with the team.
He is the greatest backup in the history of the NFL. No, I don't know any other backup that ever won the MVP of the Super Bowl in that short amount of time.
That's fair.
And by the way, that's the only reason.
It was Otis Anderson at Super Bowl.
Right, that's the only reason I give him that title is because he won the MVP of the Super Bowl. If he didn't do that, it would have been different. Nick Foles is a hero in Philadelphia. You know, it's funny, Ray. You probably don't know this, but we had gigantic Carson Wentz posters up around the stadium here, and they took all of them down and they're all Nick Foles holding the Lombardi Trophy now.
Yeah.
and they might end up on the same team. I thought it was really funny too. I saw this great meme. It's like Carson Wentz's head on somebody, pretty much saying like, come here and do this again. You can't take my spot again. But like Eagles fans with Wentz going down are really like, we're not going to get what we got back. I'm like, guys, I feel like we dodged a big bullet here. And not that I want Carson Wentz to be injured in any way, but like if he's injured, and he was here, I mean, I don't feel like we might not get our first round draft pick. And I do know that's a big deal, but I feel like we dodged a big bullet, to be honest with you.
No, for sure. I think you guys are in a better place, the Eagles, without him than you were with him, at least here at the end. And I think that, again, if the Colts do get Foles, it will mess with his head in such a way that his career might be over.
Maybe they're friends. Maybe once.
I don't know. I mean, nobody's wishing anything bad on him. No, it's just that. No. It's really funny that this story broke and everybody was just immediately like, this is like the worst looking thing possibly, I think.
And Ray will tell all of you, I've actually always defended Carson Wentz. I've never been a Wentz hater. I do love Nick Foles, but like Ray, maybe they know each other. I mean, they understand each other. They obviously work well together. So look, we'll see what happens with Carson Wentz. He is now approaching the kind of bust type territory. He's not there yet. It's just, if he comes back from this foot injury, in my opinion, that's going to be his last shot to really do something. So keep in mind, he is a Super Bowl champion too. And he was a major part of the Eagles team that won that.
I mean, that's the thing is again, I mean, you guys were in first place because of him up to that point. Like it's true. That is the thing is that he was the one who got you guys almost all the way there. And then it was late in the season with like 3 games left that he got hurt. And then
he got hurt with 3 games left. And I remember saying, it's like a preseason. Foles got these 3 games to figure it out. And then he just has to play. I said this, he has to play the 3 best games of his life. And he did just that.
And he did. And he did. So then also JJ brings up a good point though. You call him the best backup quarterback of all time. Many consider that to be Earl Morrall of the Dolphins, who helped lead them to Super Bowl 7. But also to JJ's point, like I think to JJ, like Lee said, Foles has stats that are again completely different era, of course. But that is an interesting question. It's very hard to compare guys from different eras.
The fact we're comparing them says everything I needed to say. And I'm going to say this again, that Foles I don't want to stay on this for too long. This is like ancient history and after COVID now, but what Foles did to step in, I mean, there's a great team around him, but he wasn't a backup quarterback once he came in. He was just as good as any starting quarterback in the league. He made miraculous plays. I mean, unbelievable plays from the time he got into the Super Bowl. And again, he was the MVP of the Super Bowl. I mean, if that's not the crowning achievement to get you to the top, I don't know.
In a pass-heavy Super Bowl, right? It's a different era
against the greatest quarterback in history.
It was a shootout against Tom Brady, which is definitely something.
How about this? How about we meet in the middle? That was the greatest backup quarterback performance in history. How about that?
That's, I think, very fair. I think it's very fair.
I don't think anybody's going to fight me on that.
I think I will agree with you there for sure. Other breaking news, Landon just said Chase Claypool just got hurt, wide receiver for the Steelers. You hate to see that. Wentz, JJ arguing that Wentz is not a bust.
That's not what I said, JJ. That is not what I said. JJ's saying Wentz had an MVP caliber year and you're calling him a bust. Get out of here. It's exactly what I said. He did have a great year with us, but if he does not come back from this injury, he is entering bust territory. I did not.
I would say if he doesn't come back from this injury, he could be considered a bust. He was hurt.
That's what I'm saying.
He's been hurt more of his career than healthy. I mean, and that to me that signifies that that's an unfortunate bust. That's a loss of potential. That's like, I mean, it's a shame, but it is what it is. I mean, a lot of great players have their careers cut short by injuries.
But
and so
JJ, you're agreeing with me, JJ. And that's basically what I said. To be fair.
Yeah. So we're moving now from like NFL signings and trades and moving on to the NBA. Actually, it's been a very busy week for the NBA in particular. I think we talked about this last week a little bit about the Westbrook trade from the Knicks as they continue to make the geriatrics team, the Los Angeles Geriatrics. They just signed Carmelo Anthony to a 1-year deal to try and give him some perimeter shooting. He's 37 now. Not to say he can't be a good 6th man off the bench, but aside from Anthony Davis, the other 8 guys right now on their roster are 32 or older. That's not what you want from an NBA franchise. On the other hand, one of the few guys that the Knicks did sign that was older than 30. The Knicks are signing Kemba Walker, which is a huge get for them, can really fill the point guard position and help them figure things out. And this was a big, big deal in New York. A guy who was born and raised in the Bronx, who, played nearby, I think it was at UConn, who now, of course, has coming home. It's a homecoming to be a leader, plus with a chip on his shoulder after everything that went down in Boston, to potentially lead the Knicks alongside, 26-year-old Julius Randle and all the young kids and D Rose coming off the bench. Lee, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm excited as a Knicks fan.
Well, Ray, I remember this probably 3 years ago now, maybe 2 years. No, it was 2 years ago. You got your new GM. He sent out that letter and he said, look, we're going to turn things around here and make you believe in power of Knicks basketball again. And you were absolutely skeptical and understandably skeptical, but he did what he said he was going to do. The Knicks are now a team that are up and coming, which you have not said in a long, long time. So it's good to be excited about the Knicks. My Sixers are in a little bit of a different predicament, but it looks like they're going to be looking to make some moves. They haven't kept up with the other teams, which is making me a little bit nervous. It's funny about you mentioned Carmelo Anthony. I remember watching him at Syracuse win the national championship in 2002. And now he's towards the end of his career, makes us sound old. But look, what I'm not happy about is that, you had Milwaukee win and this great team effort. We talked about this a little bit last week, this great team mentality, and it just proves that you can win like that. And they're just doing super team moves again. The Lakers are doing the us versus the world type team of we're all too old. And that's what they're going to do all year is, we're too old to win. We're too old to win. And it's very predictable. This is how next season's going to go in the West. The Lakers are going to win the NBA championship, or they're going to get to the playoffs and be incredibly injured and lose. That's how the West is going to go. And then the other thing too is with the East. Yeah. So Sixers have to do some creative moves here and think quickly because their window is closing very, very quickly. But yeah, as a Knicks fan, Ray, I see the excitement. They were a fun team to watch last year. And they should build on that. And hopefully they don't get in their own way like they always do.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. A couple other interesting moves. It sounds like Chris Paul will retire now as a Sun because he signed a 4-year deal with them. That should bring him to the end of his career. That would bring him to 40 years old. So I can't imagine him going beyond that, especially as a basketball player. So good for Chris Paul. It sounds like that's the home he wants, and he's going to stay there. And obviously that team was good enough to get to the finals this year. If they're smart, maybe they can get back. But again, a lot of that's going to depend on what the Lakers are doing, what Golden State is doing. Golden State, of course, signing Curry to another $200 million contract. He will basically make him a Warrior for life, especially as they get ready to move to a new stadium in San Francisco proper. And then the Bulls. Styles mentions the Bulls in chat. The Bulls did make a lot of good moves. They got Lonzo Ball. They are trying to get younger and more competitive. And I think they also made some great trades. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And Lowry went down to Miami. It's going to be a very interesting NBA season, I think, particularly in the East. I think the Suns, the Lakers, and the Warriors are early front runners for the West.
Right.
But the East, obviously you have Brooklyn, but you have to see how healthy they are. But again, not to get, the Sixers are still mostly together, but Miami got better. Chicago got better. The Knicks got better. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. So yeah, Landon, yes, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Chris Paul just signed signed back with the Suns. But yes, that is, I get you the exact numbers, but yes, he is a Sun. So yeah, so there you go. I'm curious now because this is the beauties of life. And yes, he signed I think he signed a max deal, $75 million guaranteed, $75 million guaranteed out of a $120 million contract with the Suns. So there you go. That is the deal. I wanted to get that there for the chat. If you're listening to us at home, you're like, Ray, that's old news. Well, sorry, we're doing it live. We're doing it live. It's what happens when we do it live on Twitch as well.
We're talking basketball, so I'll throw this in. The USA men's team will be playing France for the Olympic gold medal. Tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So that's good. That's a big. We're going to sprinkle Olympics in throughout the episode.
I was actually just about to use that to transition to the Olympics.
Let me rewind back, Mr.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say exactly. I was gonna say, speaking of basketball, the men's basketball team basically came back to beat Australia. They looked a little rough for the first half, but then in the second half they heated up and they pulled away, similar to what they did against Spain. Really, again, this is a team that's kind of tired, especially with the longer going NBA season this year, or I should say later into the calendar year. So a lot of these guys didn't get to practice with each other, didn't get to work with each other. And France, which of course is also full of NBA pros like Rudy Gobert, and of course newest Nick Couturier, who's going to be another perimeter shooter for us, is, they are a good team and they deserve to be in that medal game. And they beat Doncic and Serbia, I believe it is, in the or Slovakia, one of those. Sorry, I should.
They beat Slovenia. Let me look it up right now.
Slovenia, that's the one. I'm like, it begins with an S. It's a European country.
Their acronym is SLO, so I'm gonna guess it's Slovenia.
That's why I was like, wait a minute, no, it's So they've been eliminated. They'll go into the bronze medal game.
Ray, you're gonna love this. I'm on ESPN.com and I clicked on the results, and I've landed on a page where I can get Velveeta shells and cheese for $3.19 at Target. No idea how I got here, by the way.
Huh.
But that sounds pretty good right now.
I was gonna say that's a good price for Velveeta.
Yeah.
Liquid gold. Anyway, we'll take it. We'll take any sponsorship, folks.
The official snack of live Twitch streams with Ray and Lee on Thursday, August 5th.
Yeah. Yes, and yes, JJ corrected me. It's Fournier, not Couturier. I don't know why I got Couturier in my mind. Thank you for the correction there.
Yeah, that's a hockey player.
No, I don't know. Yeah, this is your fault, Lee.
I don't know. I'll take blame on that any day of the week, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know why that. I don't know why I had that brain fart there. Thank you for the correction, JJ. It happens, folks. It's a Thursday night. That's why we usually do it on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, well, this is my thoughts on that. Team USA, as Ray said, all-star teams coming together are tough, right? Everybody always goes back to the dream team. They had a lot on the line, the dream team. They had to win, and they wanted to prove their dominance over the world. The teams since then have not had that pressure on them. The pressure is actually to never let down the dream team, right? So if the USA can play together tomorrow and really bear down, look, anytime a team USA bears down and plays together, they're going to win the gold medal, right? I really believe that. Okay. I'm not saying that other teams are not dominant in the sport, but USA as of this year and every year prior should never be losing a gold medal in basketball, which we have done. But if they play together, they should win. I think the fact that they're going to the gold medal game says a lot about them. And if France wins, good for them. All right. It's an earned win.
Yes.
One funny thing about basketball in the Olympics, I was asked to bring this up tonight. The NBC, whoever's doing the graphics for the NBC team really messed up the other night. So we went back to 2004 in Athens, Greece, and they showed the 3 losses that Team USA had in basketball that year. And it said loss to Argentina, 92-74. Then it was a loss to, I want to say Slovenia. I'm sorry, no, it was Lithuania. And then another loss to Argentina. And my Ray, you know this, my wife and her family are from Puerto Rico. And my cousin from Puerto Rico this is ridiculous. They left Puerto Rico, and he's right. Puerto Rico did beat Team USA that year. So I'm watching the post come online from my family, my wife's family, about how America is just, they just want to erase this stuff. They don't want Puerto Rico to be there. And I looked it up and I go, guys, listen, here's the deal. I said, whoever put that graphic together put Argentina twice, because the score from the first loss is the correct score. They just did not write Puerto Rico, which is wrong,
right?
But not a conspiracy. And I said I said, this is what happened. Somebody over there is really tired because they've been doing graphics for 55 different countries, and they just didn't type the right country. So 2 reasons I'm mentioning this up. Puerto Rico did beat the United States in 2004. I said it for America and for Puerto Rico. Graphic people over in Tokyo, God bless you. Get some sleep and have some coffee before you make a graphic like that.
They've been working almost 24/7 for this.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah. It was a funny conversation because I told my cousin that he's like, oh, all right. After all that hoopla.
Right. But, no, exactly. Sometimes you just got to confront folks with facts, and that's all it is.
No, it was an accident. And I'm going to say it again. Puerto Rico did defeat the United States in basketball in 2004. It is a major victory for that country, but there was no conspiracy. I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, and that's the thing is that sometimes, again, these things happen. And just like the same reason why I said the Knicks signed Couturier instead of Fournier. So it's just,
Couturier is a great center in the NHL.
even part of the interruption has an entire segment at the end of the show dedicated to the errors that they make.
That's true.
Because sometimes you just have your wires get crossed and you just have a brain fart
Right.
when you're doing things live on the air. We're live.
At least you pick the player whose position is also in the NBA.
So
there's centers in both sports. So yeah, I'm here for you with mediocre comebacks, right?
Yeah, so there you go. So JJ mentions the Team USA baseball is also going for gold. That is we will get to that very shortly.
Yes.
After they blew a 6-3 lead to Japan, they're lucky to even be going for that game.
That's true too.
And let's see.
I'd rather watch that game than any MLB game, though. We'll get to it.
We will get to it. But yeah, other things, of course, in the Olympics, Simone Biles did come back for the final gymnastics event for the balance beam. She got bronze. But it was a big deal for her, of course, to come back and do that after battling the twisties they call it.
Look, I gave a rant on this last week, so I'm not going to do that again in her defense. The big updates for this week is we're finding out now that one of her aunts passed away as she arrived. She did have the twisties, which again is we all know what that is now after nobody knew what it was, which is basically she had no ability to understand what was up or down or left or right while doing her jumps. And again, I want to stress
getting vertigo in midair. Yeah.
Right. And we have to remember here, everybody's comparing that to other sports. If you miss a jump at this level, you could die. I think people don't realize that. You could get seriously mangled. And then again, I'm not going to debate. Look, this is the only thing I want to say. I didn't say this last week. And this is the only controversial thing I'll say because I'm very much in her defense. There are people that are calling her a hero. And there's one thing I do not agree with that word choice. All right. Heroes are in the military. Heroes are saving this country every day. They're wearing camo. It is not heroic to me to not compete, but it was brave. There is a distinction between those two words. Okay. The heroes in this story were her teammates who stepped up to the plate amid massive adversity, won medals. Suni Lee winning gold, silver, and bronze for that matter. Her name is escaping me on the floor exercise, or the other lady who won on the high bars. Her teammates completely stepped up to the plate. All right. And again, the equivalent would be like Michael Jordan going down and the Bulls still winning the championships, which they did not do.
Right.
Okay. That to me is the heroism of the moment. All right. Yeah. She is brave for putting her mental health first. And her teammates are heroes for stepping up to the plate. I wanted to say that, but the media was horrendous to her. A lot of Americans were horrendous to her. And I think that she is brave. I think that you know what this reminded me of, Ray? And then I'll jump off it. It's like keeping in mind, I'm a Flyers fan. When Sidney Crosby got the concussions and he sat out a whole year and everyone was calling him a wimp and weak. And he completely changed the discussion about concussions and how seriously they're taken around the NHL. And completely changed the game, right? That was brave to me, right? Because that's his brain, right? So I think Simone Biles did the same thing here with mental fitness and mental health, which is a major issue, and there's a stigma around it, and we need to break that. I said that last week. Go watch my rant last week. But Simone Biles, congratulations on your bronze medal. Listen, last thing I'll say with the Olympics. This is Olympics, Ray. This is not just Simone Biles, okay?
Right.
I'm all about gold. I'm all about winning. I really am. I'm one of those people like, yeah, gold means you won. But I am not one of those people that looks at silver and bronze like, all right. You might not get the big endorsement deal, but I'll tell you what, if I was second or third at anything in the world, that's a big deal. Like again, we go for the gold in this country. It's a big thing, but I don't like to downplay silver and bronze like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By the way, watched the shot put last night. Won that too. That was pretty fun to watch.
Yes. Americans got gold and silver in the shot put.
This guy's running around. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And they're like, he's 6'8". I'm like, 6'8". What are you doing here? Go to the NFL. What are you doing here?
He looks like he could be a linebacker, but again, he also is now the best in the world
all time.
The shot put
all time.
So I mean, that is something to be said. Also, Italy won the race walking gold.
Oh, I know that one. That's when they walk with their hips like this.
Yeah, which I still just don't.
I shouldn't have done that. Caitlin's totally going to use that. She's totally going to use this against me.
She is. I was not. Yeah, you fell into the trap. You fell into my trap. Yeah,
JJ also says nobody remembers second place except the Olympics. JJ, I actually agree with you. Nobody does remember second. Look, I'm a coach, man. I'm a competitor. Ray will tell you that. I want to win when I play. But
to be fair, I barely remember first place.
Which, yeah, that's fair too, Ray. Look, I think it's true that nobody remembers second place, and I'm not saying second place should be remembered, but I don't want to downplay second place in the Olympics or third place in the Olympics. Winning a medal in the Olympics is an honor. Any medal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just gold is the best.
Yes. Quick fact, quick trivia. What is the only medal of the 3 medals, gold, silver, or bronze, that is a pure metal?
Bronze.
No.
Silver.
It is the silver medal. The silver medal is.
I had a 33.3% chance. Gosh darn it!
Yeah, the bronze is a composite of copper and brass.
Right. Yeah,
and the gold is actually another silver medal, just gold plated.
Painted. Yeah, that's weak.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I guess gold's worth too much now that I'm thinking about it.
That's kind of the thing is that exactly you can get a lot more. I think silver's a bit cheaper to make.
Yeah, I look,
fun little trivia fact. I wanted.
That's a great one. And look, this is what I'll tell you about the Olympics as a whole. Started off a little rocky. I thought when they started off, I'm speaking specifically in America, I think we politicized it too much. But as the dust started to settle, it got enjoyable again.
Yes.
Just because we're not allowed to enjoy anything in this country anymore. So
everything's under a microscope.
Everything and you got to pick a side. You got to pick a side on everything. I'm on Team USA's side. So when USA wins, I'm very happy. There's nothing against the other countries. And I think USA, there have been some amazing stories of people stepping up here. The wrestler who won, the female wrestler who won, first African-American wrestler who won, saying, I love to represent the United States. I mean, you want to feel good about those things, and those things make me feel good.
Yeah, I think also the American men got the gold in wrestling as they beat Iran, which was a big deal. It makes me think of Kurt Angle and his broken neck.
That came up too, because I think it's the 20th anniversary of that. So
it's the 25th anniversary of him winning the gold medal with his broken neck, because it's rare for it to be a 25th anniversary, but this is the only, because of COVID, this is the only time an Olympic event is having on an odd year.
Look, I'll just say this. Look, it's amazing how we miss this every 2 years. The Olympics are all about the world coming together, laying down their arms, and peacefully competing to win medals. And once again, it did happen. It did happen successfully this year. And I did enjoy them once the media got out of the way and did it. And, again, I think it is also a big deal, aside from what I said about Team USA gymnastics coming together and all that stuff. Look, USA is top 3 in the medal count.
Yes,
we live in a country that needs to make a lot of changes, but we live in a great country, and we are always in the top 3 at the Olympics. And I'm proud to be from here, and I'm proud of our athletes, and I really am happy to be from this country. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, USA is currently leading the total medal count. I believe they're second to China in terms of overall gold.
Well, see, the gold is all that matters. This is where I go. Like, the medal count's great, but you have to have the most goals to win the Olympics, in my mind.
Technically, right? Yeah.
Okay, exactly. It's not the most medals to me, but that's just my opinion. I could be. What do you think?
Because I mentioned Kurt Angle. Chat's also talking about how bad WWE is right now, and that is very, very true. Mm-hmm. I watched Raw and NXT this week for some research on something, and the show. I mean, SmackDown is tolerable, but Raw and NXT, good God, they are in trouble. They are in trouble. WWE and AEW, even with AEW is one of their weaker shows last night, probably in like a month. It was building some other stuff up. There was a purpose to it. They're setting everything up for the new Friday show next week. It was still worlds better. It was still worlds better. And also, I'm going to do this just because we typically are doing this on chat. This is a big deal for Yankee fans. Joey Gallo just hit his first career home run as a Yankee to give the Yankees a 5-3 lead. So, goodbye! There we go. Sorry, Lee. I know if you're listening to the podcast, you're probably not used to it, but that's what I do on 5 nights a week. You're on twitch.tv/RayCarcelo. So, Caitlin, I probably just blew Caitlin's eardrums out.
That's okay. I hope you woke up my kids downstairs too. Look, it's
through your headphones.
Well, listen. I don't know if you saw. You weren't looking, Ray, but they were like this when you were doing that, and I was like, oh my God. So.
It's a big deal. That was a big deal. He's been, and honestly, I need to go. I need to talk to somebody, some folks on Twitter, because we've been doing live tweeting the Yankee games actually, and it's been actually a pretty good crowd showing up there. And one dude predicted it, and I got to call him out. I got to say this Lakers fan said I predicted Gallo's going to hit his first Yankee home run tonight. He's going to have multiple guys on base, and he was right. It was a 3-run home run. So How about that?
You let me know when you want me to talk about how much I can't stand the MLB.
All right. Well, right now, and that brings us a perfect transition to baseball. So,
Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball. JJ, who's a very sore and bitter Mets fan, who even with first place, even in first place, technically by only a half game, even in first place, have a far worse record than the Yankees.
Does JJ know who my team is, even though I'm not watching and rooting for anybody right now?
Well, I mean, he's going to know now because your Phillies are only a half game back of the Mets after taking, sweeping the Nationals. I believe it was in a 4-game set, and the Mets dropped 3 of 4 to the Marlins. Interesting things as races are starting to heat up. Yeah, JJ's like, that's it. I'm done with baseball. I'm jumping over to football.
Yeah, JJ, I want you to hear my thoughts on baseball. I want you to hear my thoughts on Major League Baseball.
But another big COVID outbreak in the Yankee locker room. This is the 3rd COVID outbreak of the year for the Yankees. Garrett Cole, Jordan Montgomery, Gary Sanchez, 3 of their biggest and best players now will have to miss at least a week and a half. Absolutely horrendous. They are supposedly blaming the fact that they were down in Florida for the past week, which isn't impossible, as right now Florida and Louisiana are 2 of the biggest hotbeds for COVID. Even Don Mattingly, the Marlins
they have an excuse. They're giving excuses. If only there was something available to prevent them from getting it.
The problem is that the Yankees are actually almost 100% vaccinated, including these 3 players. These are ridiculous. Breakthrough cases.
It's all ridiculous.
Now. These are Delta breakthrough cases now. But yeah, it's kind of getting to the point where it is, baseball is having these every week again. Is it a mix of baseball being lax on their enforcement? Probably. Is it the things are getting worse again in this country as the wave continues to uptick because enough people aren't getting vaccinated and we have a variant now? Possibly. There are multiple things here, but baseball really needs to start cracking down, and maybe they should make it where either guys need to be held more accountable, like they might have to lose paychecks if they get COVID, or like what the NFL is doing, where you have to start forfeiting games. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward, and if they do anything next year. Unfortunately, and I hate to turn this into just a COVID conversation, I think this is going to linger around a lot longer than we thought it was going to. Lee, first off, what are your thoughts on how baseball continues to mishandle COVID?
Baseball has mishandled
everything.
Look, I'm going to reiterate some of this just because we have a live audience tonight. I was a big baseball fan for many, many years, but it has broken my heart too many times. And I'm going way back to 1998 with the steroid era. Then you had a team that literally cheated to win the World Series, got away with it with no punishment. You got guys like Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame. You got the Black Sox scandal. Those guys were blackballed from baseball. You have actual cheaters right now in the game. No one has defended them, by the way, not even Astros fans. They just kind of cautiously walk away when you bring it up, right? Then Manfred, the commissioner league, has made literally every possible bad decision that he possibly can with this sport. You got guys doing stuff to baseballs, and then he makes a punishment that basically sits you out of the rotation for 2 cycles. Just no accountability.
Yep.
No foresight to the future. I want to reiterate to everybody listening, I love the sport of baseball. I like going to games with my friends and having a beer. I even like playing baseball, if you can believe that. I will not support a league that actively has cheaters, not just the Astros, by the way. All right. And does nothing to stop it. How can I watch that? Ray, you're talking about the Phillies surging to first place. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm happy to hear that. I had no idea. And it doesn't make me less of a sports fan. Ray will back me up on that.
Yeah. No.
All right. I just refuse to watch a sport that doesn't care about its own best interests. All right. And like I said, they're doing nothing to show me that they care. Horrendous umpiring when you have the ability to make perfect umpiring. Okay. And I've equated this to before fans is that to me right now, baseball is like an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend that's cheating on you and you keep going back. I want to say this again. It has broken my heart multiple times. This is not something I came to slowly. Okay. I've always enjoyed the game, but it has broken my heart too many times. And here's the thing. I can't be sure that whoever wins the World Series didn't cheat to do it. I don't want to think that they did. Really. Okay. But I can't be sure. And the last thing is that the MLBPA and the MLB are too intertwined together, right? That's not a good thing because they will do what's best for the money at that point. Okay. And I am a business owner. I am also someone who works in the business of sports. Money in baseball and sports is very important, but so is the integrity of the game. And the two cannot exist without each other. And baseball's integrity is flushing down the toilet right now. And no one, Ray, and again, you've backed me on this, and I appreciate that. No one has given me any reason to come back. Not one fan has given me one good reason to come back. Right? And they say, well, what about beers with friends at a game? I can go to a college game and enjoy that. All right. Why would I give them my money at this point? Not one baseball fan has said I'm wrong, and not one baseball fan has given me a good reason to come back. And if your attitude is screw you, we don't need you, that's a problem too.
Yes.
When I'm actively saying I want to be there.
Yes.
All right. So that's again, I went off a little more than I wanted to. This is probably the 5th time you've heard this, Ray, but your audience has it. And no, anybody in the chat, again, the majesty of the game has died to me. It's not beautiful anymore. It's not romantic anymore. It's a horror story to me now. And I don't want to support it. This may be back that I also rooted for the worst team in MLB history for most of my life. So I'm used to tragedy.
Yes, but to be fair, but it was still, the game still meant something. And now, unfortunately, you're right. There is a stigma around the game. The game is losing fans every year.
Right.
The age of the average baseball fan is constantly going up because it's guys like me who are sticking around, but nobody younger. Now, obviously, there's some folks in chat. The folks in chat are baseball fans, and they are younger. Not to say there's nobody under the age of 20 that's liking baseball, but overall. It is a top heavy in terms of age of the fan base. It is top heavy. Right. It is older fans.
Every sport is growing faster than baseball right now. That's what you're saying. Listen, I want to make this understood because I'm reading some of these things in chat about why baseball is the greatest sport and all this stuff. Like hockey's my sport. I'll admit that freely. I am not against baseball. For those of you listening, I like baseball. I go as far to say I actually really love it. I don't like Major League Baseball. I will watch softball. I'm not kidding. I will watch softball. I will watch USA men's baseball in the Olympics. I'll watch college ball. Hell, I'll watch even some international minor league ball, but I will not watch the MLB anymore. I'm on strike.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, you don't have to join me. I'm not walking out like, come on, everybody, come pick it with me. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, no one here has given me any reason to come back because you can't do it. Yeah. All right. Again, Ray, if you came over here and said, hey, let's go to the game together, I'm not going to say no because I want to hang out with you. All right. Mm-hmm. But no one has, again, not one person has a good comeback to me on this. By the way, JJ's talking about no one goes through tragedy like Mets fans. I was a Phillies fan, JJ. I mean, I still am technically, but I get it. I mean, I kind of get it. Be honest about this. Okay?
Both the Mets and Phillies are pathetic franchises. There we go.
I like that. Caitlin asked if we can pick it in a game. We should go to an MLB game with signs.
I would love to do that.
For the MLB and get on camera. This sport sucks. This league sucks. Manfred, more like no man.
Yeah, that was a bad one. I mean, well, and yeah, we got Rufiondo in here saying he's a Mariners fan.
That's an even better example. That's even that like you're the precedent. You're the best example. You guys sell your World Series teams and do horrible they treat you like crap down there for decades. Why would you go back to that team? Are you talking about the Mariners?
You're thinking the Marlins.
You guys had great players and never won. Why would you go back to that team? No, okay. I am sorry. I did read that as Marlins, not Mariners.
Yeah, they're in chat and you don't realize how once you think about they're actually very similar words. But yes,
that's I read that wrong. By the way, we were live and I'm looking left and right. I'm not wrong about the Marlins though.
You're not wrong about the Marlins. You are true. That is true. You're not wrong about the Marlins.
But again, this proves my point in your chat, Ray. Again, it's not 15,000 people, but no one is saying I'm wrong. All right. And what that tells me, baseball fans or MLB fans, is that you feel this a similar way. All right.
Yeah.
And like I said, and Ray, I have to admit this too. It would be very hard for me to walk away from the NHL if this stuff was going on too. I don't know if I would or not because I love hockey that much. All right. So like I get it. I get where fans are coming from. If you love baseball, you kind of have to watch. I'm not there with it. I'm not watching until they make some changes. Period.
No, that's perfectly fine. And again, it all starts. The first major change they need to make is fire Rob Manfred.
Get him out of this sport. He is horrible for Major League Baseball. He has not made one right decision. Not one. And I'm the guy that I back up Gary Bettman. I'll back up Roger Goodell if I think they make a good decision, because I think people hate on those guys for no reason sometimes. I have nothing good to say about Rob Manfred. Every wrong decision. Can anybody tell me anything he's done good? Anybody? No. Dum, 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 dum.
No, Rob Manfred is easily the worst sports commissioner in the history of sports commissioners.
Do anything for Sea-League to be back. Anything.
So yeah, I was gonna say, Lee, what if Sea-League was still around? What if we were in a different universe and Bud Seeley was still
steroids
somebody
were legal.
else, somebody competent, somebody who's willing to punish the Astros. So of course that brings us into our next topic as we move now from sports into geekdom. What If has been announced this week. For those of you who know, What If is coming out this coming week, the first episode on Disney Plus. It is based on a comic from the 90s that was different stories from Marvel. Like what if Peter Parker never got the Venom symbiote? What if somebody else got it first? What if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum instead of Captain America, instead of Steve Rogers? So there's been a lot of fun things there. They're going to be doing this show, and they've announced now that officially it is part of
canon. It's canon.
It's part of the canon, correct. It is going to lead into, we believe, Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man and all these other films. And that is a big deal, because originally this wasn't supposed to be canon, but now,
they never said anything about it.
So the comics weren't originally canon, but now,
yes, that's fair.
They're working this in a way where not only are they taking a great thing from the comics, but they're making it work into the larger MCU. I, for one, am super excited for this show. First episode drops this coming Wednesday, the 11th. Lee, what are your thoughts so far on what's going on with What If?
Yeah. So again, Ray and I were basing all of our beliefs on What Ifs from the comics. We're well versed in the What If comics. To be fair to the Disney and MCU, they I'm not saying like this in a bad way, Ray, towards us. They actually never said it was canon or not. We just kind of assumed it wasn't. And then after
knowing the comics,
and then obviously after Loki, we're like, oh, I think I said it. Like, I think those are going to be canon. I think they're going to be canon. And what I think this is going to be doing is more warm up for people to understand what the multiverse is. And if you think about it, they've introduced the multiverse at the end of Loki. It would be very hard just to jump into a multiverse film right after that. So I think that this show's purpose is to be like, let me just explain a little bit more of like what the multiverse is and how many different variations of something that can happen. I'm super excited about it. I think that, so a lot of the actors are coming back to voice their parts.
Yes.
I think most of them are, if not all of them. And I know, like you said, there's Captain Carter, there's T'Challa as Star-Lord, there's Marvel Zombies, there's one with Loki that I'm not quite sure about what that's going to be about yet, but I have a feeling that's going to be very important. I would not be surprised if it's one of the Lokis we've seen already. And there's a few more stories, but I think it's going to show the possibilities of a multiverse. I think it also sets up the possibility for some of these characters to show up in other films. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think that's what the purpose of the show is it's fun because What If is just an awesome comic book. But it is a setup. It is a warm up to get the fan base to understand how the multiverse works.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We don't even know how long the season is.
Right. And what the rules are. Like that's the one thing Loki didn't do. It didn't really establish the rules of the multiverse. All right.
Yeah. Which you wonder if they're going to do here, or they're going to wait for Doctor Strange or Spider-Man. Yeah. But at the very least. Again, we talked about this weeks ago. Kevin Feige says there are rules. We've hashed them out before we started all this. There are rules.
Right. And how does that mesh with time and space? Like that's the other thing with the multiverse is like we think about our current heroes, but we don't know how this reacts with time. So like there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen here. And I think the other cool thing about the MCU now, Ray, is that like there was a time they were making movies with the intention of, okay, if you haven't seen these movies, you can kind of catch up. Now they're like, if you haven't seen phase 1 through 4, what the hell are you doing? Or 1 through 3. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, no. Well, to be fair. So Landon actually brings up, he mentioned earlier in the chat that he's only 14. He's an Arizona Diamondbacks fan. I'm sorry, you've only seen your team suck for your entire life. Well, it's true. I mean, they were good, but they were
suck when I was a kid. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right. Yeah. But he's never seen a Marvel movie. Well, I mean, Landon, it's fair because they started coming out when you were 3, but they're all on Disney Plus. You can catch up very, very quickly.
Yeah, kind of. You should. So, yeah. They're good. They've aged very well.
Yeah. JJ, we're going to get to Cobra Kai in a second. The last Marvel thing before we go. Before we move on.
Wait,
Spider-Man.
before we leave what if, sorry. I'm sorry. I did want to ask you this actually, like friend to friend, but we didn't have any phone calls really this week. Which what if story are you most excited for from what we know?
Oh, I think it's Steve Rogers as Iron Man. I think
that's a good one. I'm actually looking forward to the zombies one.
I'm curious to see how that I'm very curious. That could be either great or terrible. I think that's gonna. I mean, I'm leaning they'll do it very, very well, but I think that could be very much a hit or miss episode.
Well, and you know why? I think you might know why. There's a reason why I want to see that one is because Spider-Man in the comic books is the main character, if you will, of that. I'm sorry, zombie Spider-Man is the main character in the comic book. So we'll see if they go that direction with it. But yeah, we'll see. I just want to know. I wanted to know. I was curious.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see where they go with all of these. And speaking of Spider-Man, you mentioned zombie Spider-Man, but this is interesting. Spider-Man's coming out in 5 months, less than 5 months now, 4 months, December, and we still haven't gotten a trailer.
Nope.
And we're kind of at the point now where we should probably start to get a trailer. I still believe they're waiting for Shang-Chi. That'll be where the trailer drops, because also if they're not putting that on Disney Plus right away, there's a good chance they're like, hey, listen, we know this is a character you probably haven't heard of. You're probably not very familiar with. You're probably just riding the Marvel brand. We're going to put the Spider-Man trailer in front of it. So go see the movie. Like, go to the movies, go see it. It might be, I'm thinking they might be using that as a little extra cherry on top to get them to go to this movie. But you don't think they're going to release the trailer at all?
It's a theory. Okay. I have a theory they might not release the trailer at all. Now here's the thing too, Ray. This is the problem with your Shang-Chi thoughts, is that as soon as the trailer is in front of a film, it's on the internet right away. They can't wait. Okay. So I want to preface this all with, I want a trailer. I would love to have a trailer, but then I started thinking about it from a business standpoint. If you really wanted to get people back in the theaters, you had to get people back in the theaters. How would you do that? And you wouldn't show them anything. You have to go opening day or weekend and see this film if you want to know anything about it, right? And here's the deal. This is the other thing I thought about. And again, theory. I'm not saying they're not going to release a trailer, okay? Theory, all right? Everyone I know would do that within reason. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about with COVID so much. Like, if it's not safe, they won't. Okay. Right. But I'm saying that if it feels safe, everyone I know will be like, oh, it's so annoying they didn't release a trailer. You want to go see the movie? Yeah, let's go see the movie. That's exactly what's going to happen. So maybe they won't show a trailer. And it's kind of a brilliant marketing move if they want to get people back in the theaters. Or, and I don't expect this, but they have to be thinking ahead of with COVID. They don't really know what's going to happen. It's also a great way to say, why don't you buy Disney Plus for a year? And you can watch Spider-Man on, Disney Plus. Like, we'll have a theater discussion in a second, but theaters are opening up again and they're getting some numbers. Jungle Cruise really broke some box office stuff this weekend and did really well on direct on Disney Plus. There's a plan here, right? Again, I think we will get a trailer, but I will not be surprised if they don't release a trailer. I mean, think about how much that trailer is going to give away. We all know the rumors.
Possibly. Yeah.
Right. If they're smart, like, one thing I do hate is when trailers ruin films. Right. Like I think one of the biggest mistakes, it's weird, Ray. One of my favorite trailers of all time was the Thor Ragnarok trailer with Immigrant Song. It's one of my favorite trailers because of that great moment where, he sees Hulk, he goes, yes, he's a friend from work. And I also hate that trailer for showing me that. I loved it. I loved seeing it. And I hated it. How much cooler would have been in the theater if you're like, oh my God. But they probably just figured everyone was going to ruin that for everybody else. So maybe.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Even with the Ghostbusters trailer recently, right? With Dan Aykroyd at the end, like, but you also kind of know they're coming. I think the big thing is going to be, again, for Spider-Man in particular, is it the multiverse? How are they incorporating it? Are all the rumors true?
Yeah, like, why answer that question? Why answer that question and not have you go to the theater? Again, I'm just thinking uber business like right now. You're gonna see the movie. It's you know what? I'd actually say, Ray, the trailer for that film is the most anticipated trailer in history. All right.
It's up there.
Right?
It's up
I can't
there.
think of another one that was more big than this. Keeping in mind, Marvel probably has the top 10 list on that. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, aside maybe from the third Nolan Batman,
Right.
like, you know, there's or even the second, honestly, after with Heath Ledger, like,
right.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, they're all comic book films. They're all comic book films. So
one thing, just really quickly sidestepping because of something in chat. JJ says Ray is still salty over the Diamondbacks. JJ, I'm going to tell you this as someone a little older.
Yep.
He is, and he has every right to be. And it has nothing to do with the Diamondbacks, to be fair.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm sure you know the history behind the 2001 World Series. And he is not salty because it was the Diamondbacks. All right. But he has every right to be salty over that. That's all I want to say. I do know baseball, guys. I do know MLB. All right. I'm just not happy with it right now. So go ahead, Ray. Sorry. I had to back you up there as my friend.
No, I appreciate that. And Rufiando mentions, didn't the director of Spider-Man announce he didn't want a trailer? Maybe that's fair. I mean, at the end of the day, it might not be his decision. If Kevin Feige wants a trailer, there's gonna be a trailer. But
Disney could change how trailers are done if they don't show this trailer.
Yeah.
All right. And again, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed like all of us, Ray. But I from a business standpoint, I'm like, oh, it's kind of genius. Good for them.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have released one before the last episode of Loki anyway. They couldn't have done it.
No. Well, again, and that's why, again, even depending on what happens with What If, they might even just wait till Eternals. Like they might. This could be a real like quick PR campaign, like right after the movie. Like
they do not need to release a trailer. That's the key here. They don't even need to because you're gonna see it. Anybody in chat not gonna see that film that cares, you know, about Spider-Man? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
The answer's no. No.
So,
no. Where are you going? Nowhere.
Yeah. Speaking of trailers, JJ's going to be happy about this. We're going to now release today a 30-second. It's a teaser trailer, but it is a big deal because we also get at least the window probably right. I'm going to guess right around Christmas, honestly. This way everybody's home and can binge the whole thing all in one go, like we did with New Year's last year. Cobra Kai season 4 dropped a 30-second trailer today that they obviously we back for Netflix.
The promo for the
promo, yeah, it was really a promo. Yeah, and it was basically focusing, that the All Valley tournament, which we know is how, if spoiler alert, it's basically how season 3 ended, is that basically that Kreese, Johnny, and Daniel are going to settle their differences once again at the All Valley, and basically, that's what it's going to be about. That's what they're setting up. They show all the major characters from the show, or doing a move, or doing a signature, or doing a flip kick, and all that other stuff. And there was also a promo image released today of Kreese in a new, like, really fancy black gi and like stuff like that. Like,
there was one person missing from that trailer that is important.
I didn't dissect it because I didn't have time.
You don't need to. There's one major character that was already revealed that was not in that trailer.
Oh, well, Silver. Yeah, Terry Silver was.
How cool of an ending would that have been if it just like, and it was just him like laughing or something like that? That would have been.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that I think in a way it kind of gives things up, because it might be. I wonder if they get the All Valley tournament done over and done with.
I hope so.
Early in the season.
Yeah.
And then Silver comes in and really mucks everything up.
Yeah. Look, I think I don't think it's going to be as simple as like the All Valley is the key to the whole season, because like Silver coming back is a big deal. They got into the backstory of the war with Kreese. Obviously, Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do have combined together to take on Cobra Kai, which is an awesome kind of thing when you say it out loud. And Terry Kreese is coming back. They're going to elevate this to another level because they have to. And I think they said they're planned through season 7, right? Didn't they have 7 seasons?
I think 6? Ralph Macchio said that they have 6 seasons planned.
Right. Yeah. So like, I don't know where they could go with this. All I know is that show is a hell of a lot of fun. They have completely cracked the code of knowing how to be self-aware in a Deadpool way without breaking the fourth wall. And I appreciate it every season. And Ray will tell you this. I've been watching that since it was on YouTube TV. All right. Yep. I have been watching that since season 1. So somebody said it's the best show on Netflix. It has not always been on Netflix. And let's be honest, The Witcher's pretty good too, if we're going to go that well. But anyway, looking forward to season 4.
That is another debate for another day. So.
I look, Cobra Kai is a very fun show. I think the only thing better than Cobra Kai right now is Ted Lasso, in my opinion. So it's just, it's super, super fun, and I enjoy it every time.
Excellent. Very good.
You're welcome, Ray. Back to you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think it's good.
I'm watching the Yankees, Ray. I'm right here. I'm just a boy doing a podcast with you. It is not a boy. I was told I have gray hairs in my beard tonight, Ray. That happened.
Why do you think I shaved mine a few years ago? That's why.
You look good.
This is all silver now.
So, like
Silver.
Terry Silver. Look at that transition.
There it is. I'm actually going to be playing like Terry's silver son. What's going to happen?
Ray Silver.
Ray Silver.
Ray, did you know what medal from the Olympics is the only true medal? It's
Silver.
Silver.
Silver. Look at that. Look, it's all coming full circle.
But by the way, when I don't know his name, but when the actor that played Terry Silver did that promo, like I'm coming back.
Yeah.
I was like, man, you're polite. And that's just not, it's very weird for me to see you. Like, he's like, I'm so excited to come back and be part of Cobra Kai. And it's like, that's not, I don't remember you being like a nice dad. Could you stop now? He's like, I grew my ponytail back. I'm great. I'm like, yeah, you're like evil. Stop talking.
He's an actor, man. He's pulling the curtain back. The Wizard of Oz. It's all
super
fun.
ready.
I do want to say one thing. So one other quick thing that wasn't on the rundown, but the kid who plays Miguel, Xolo Madruiera, I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's announced that he is pretty much locking it in there. I guess they're working on the contract. He will be the Blue Beetle.
No
for
way.
DC.
That's perfect.
Miguel is going to be the Blue Beetle for DC Comics and HBO Max. They're doing an HBO direct to HBO Max movie with Blue Beetle, and he will be the star. So
JJ says Terry Silver is Miguel's father. I think he's the girl's father from the other side.
I don't think he's anybody's father.
You're right. You're right. No, it wasn't him. It was the guy. What was the name of the champion he was training in Karate Kid 3?
You know what I'm talking
about? The bad Karate's
Bridges,
bad boy.
Bridges or something? Or
no. Now if you say it, I'll. Landon says he has no idea what we're talking about. It's okay, Landon. That's why it's a variety show. I think he might be the father of Tori or whatever her name is. So we'll see.
That I believe more likely is.
I don't think Terry Silver's is anybody's dad, and he's too old.
Yeah, no, exactly. Mike Barnes.
Barnes.
I was close. I was like Bridges. No, I was close. Yeah, no, Mike Barnes. That I could believe more. Yeah,
you got to give Marvel credit because when you hear Barnes, you hear James Bucky Barnes. You don't think of you don't think the Karate's bad boy. And here's another one: is Hilary Swank going to come back at some point? And I actually highly believe she will. I think she will in a future season. That would be the ultimate full circle.
Maybe there's your season 5.
That would be the ultimate full circle, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Hilary Swank came back, and then then they go to the crazy season where they have no more ideas. Like Miyagi had a son. Like someone.
Yeah.
What?
Here's a fun one. JJ says that Carmen said Miguel's father's a terrible person. Here's a crazy theory. It's Ed Asner's character. Ed Asner's character is his father.
I gotta tell you. Oh my God, that was great.
We'll find out in about 3 or 4 months, guys.
Yeah, I'm sure Miguel's father is never going to be unveiled, to be honest with you.
There's a chance that, some of these questions never get answered. Because honestly, that's the thing. You guys are talking about like terrible. Well, there's terrible people. It's like, guess what? Cobra Kai is full of terrible people. Right. That's the entire premise of the show. They are all horrible people, except for maybe Miguel.
Right.
But even him,
he's not in Cobra Kai anymore. He's Eagle Fang now. So
no, but I mean like the whole show. Like, would you want to hang out with any of those people?
This is what honestly, Ray, I think you're right. If they're doing the All Valley tournament, it's going to happen pretty quickly. There's no way that's the culmination of the season. We already did it. They've already done that. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. They did talk about the soul of the valley, which I love that they're not fun. They have no problem making fun of themselves. Right. Like, great. The city official is like, I don't understand what happens in this area with karate. But
that is still to me the greatest line in the show. Which, by the way, as somebody who lives literally where the show has been shot,
literally, he lives in
literally.
The valley.
Yes. Well, some of the shots. A fair amount of the show is also shot in Atlanta because that's Hollywood Junior now. But basically, a lot of the establishing shots of the show are from around here. Nobody cares about karate. Except the Karate Kid mural down the street,
which is awesome, by the way. It's an awesome mural. But look, just closing out Cobra Kai, Karate Kid.
Yes,
and we're really blessed to have this show. I think the only other line that I liked more in that show, Ray, was in season 1 when Robbie gets hurt. By the way, that's the other story we don't know about where he is.
Yeah,
he was not in the trailer. Actually, I don't believe either. Now that I mentioned,
there were a few people who were missing.
Right. The best part of season 1 is when LaRusso does the thing to heal his leg. He's like, medic. I need a medic. He just walks away. I thought that was really good. That was really good. It's like, yeah, we're not Disneyfying. Anyway, Cobra Kai season 4 coming this winter. We'll have full recaps every week. We'll discuss it for those of you in chat that love that show.
Yeah. Let's see. Landon says that there's also rumor a Godzilla movie is coming to the streaming services. Yeah, probably. The last one did really well financially for them. Godzilla versus Kong. I mean, they've created this whole universe now. I imagine they're gonna be making another one. JJ thinks Kreese said if he loses, I go. So Cobra Kai is going to win.
Yeah. What was the bet?
What
was the bet? If Cobra Kai wins, what was the bet?
Basically, it's
it's an I Quit match.
Yeah, it's the survival of Cobra Kai, and honestly, JJ, I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, honestly, it's a good place to be that we don't know and we're debating it. That's how you know it's going to be good.
Yeah. But speaking of other streaming services, this was a big deal that came down for Paramount Plus, formerly CBS All Access. They and the creators of South Park have agreed to a $900 million deal for 4 movies that'll go to Paramount Plus. Plus, I think another. Did they say up to season 30? Up to at least there's at least another 5 seasons of South Park.
Season 30. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least another 5 seasons, I believe, of South Park the show.
12
plus
movies.
4 movies.
12. Was it 4 movies or 12?
I thought it was 4.
It was a lot, whatever it was.
It's gonna be a lot of content. They are going to be churning out South Park content until cheesy poofs are coming out of our eyes. So it is going to be but that's a big deal. I love South Park, but this is a massive, massive deal for a series that I thought personally was starting to lose a little bit of its luster the last couple of years. But I guess it's like it's basically like Paramount Plus's Simpsons against the fight Disney Plus, I guess.
Whatever it was, it's an incredible amount of money and an incredible nod to them for the work that they've done over the last 25 years. All right. So, and I was saying that those games must do really well, way better than anybody thinks, because there's some of the worst games ever and some of the best games ever in their repertoire. So we'll see where it goes. Yeah.
It's gonna be curious to see for sure what happens there. Speaking of and other stuff in the television front, this is a big deal just because of the history of the show. Mike Richards, who was the executive producer for Jeopardy, he used to host a reboot of the $25,000 Pyramid years ago. He's a Sony lifer. He has produced thousands of hours of television. He also did do a guest host segment early in the run, looking for the replacement to Alex Trebek. He has been named the heir apparent to Alex Trebek. How convenient that the executive producer is the guy, but I also there was a very good case made for him by a lot of folks. I know that folks wanted Ken Jennings or LeVar Burton or Mayim Bialik, who I think all did fantastic jobs. But I think that there's also they say, yeah, but Mike is also a game show lifer. A lot of these other folks have other commitments, and we want somebody who is nothing bigger than them than Jeopardy. So I kind of also get that decision part of it too. But I don't know. I admit it's a little disappointing that it's not somebody bigger, somebody more well known. But I hope he does well, and I hope the show continues, because if it struggles, we might be, unfortunately, we might be dealing with this again in a few years with Wheel of Fortune. Because people don't realize Pat Sajak's in his late 70s now. And again, I'm not wishing anything bad on Pat Sajak. That's not what I'm saying.
You're a monster, Ray, if you do.
I know I'm a horrible, horrible poor person. I have nightmares of Pat Sajak making me spin the wheel over and over and over again, even though I just want to buy a vowel.
Bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to buy a vowel, Pat. But no, I think this is interesting. I hope he does well, but typically, there's also a reason why this guy has not done well as a game show host in his 2 other previous appearances. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So maybe we'll have Aaron Rodgers there in the end after all.
my thoughts on this, if this is ruffling anyone's feathers, you have a great life.
Yeah. That is true. That is also true. That is
also true.
Yes.
Look, this is very much people like me, what I want. Guy's put his time in, he's earned it. And anybody know Alex Trebek? Now, we're all too young for this, but nobody knew who Alex Trebek was before he hosted Jeopardy. All right, there's a reason for this. He was not a well-known person at the time. He's known for Jeopardy.
He's known for Jeopardy, you're right? But like
as you said,
those of
Ray,
us game show junkies know he also used to host Concentration.
I know that he hosted other shows, but I'm saying he is known
Yes.
for Jeopardy, and that's what they
Right.
want is someone who is known for Jeopardy. When I think LeVar Burton, I will always think Reading Rainbow and Star Trek, always. You know, so they want someone synonymous with the brand, and I think they're correct in that manner. And if he doesn't perform, they'll find someone else. What you don't want is a rotating group of hosts.
No, you can't do what you just did.
Yeah,
right. You can't do what you just did for the last season. But I think that's also why I think it would have been interesting to have Ken Jennings as it. Right. You have the greatest Jeopardy champion now taking over and being the king of Jeopardy.
I agree. I just think, look, we've all been in a position where we paid our dues and someone else got the job. Kind of applaud them for not doing that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, you know, this guy's earned his spot, and we'll see what happens. Keeping in mind too that Jeopardy's not about the host. Like that's the other thing is like you got to think about Jeopardy as a whole. Like it's not about having a big name person host it. It's about the questions and the people. And like when you look at the formula, that's what makes it work, right? So I don't know. I think they. I don't want to say they made the right decision or the wrong decision. They made a decision.
We'll see what happens. Yeah,
exactly.
We'll see what happens. And again, and if it was the wrong decision, then he will probably be replaced.
Yeah, ratings will plummet, and then Jay Leno will come back and host the Tonight Show.
Wait, what? Huh? No,
what?
Oh, what? No. So there you go. I mean, again, who knew Drew Carey was going to be the guy to replace Bob Barker? So
that's fair.
But anyway, yeah. So moving on now into video games, we got a couple of kind of really sucky video game stories. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. The first one. This is being blown out of proportion. I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to explain what's happening. There was a huge backlash this week because there was a certain PC ban that kicked in to effect here this past week in California, as well as other states, Colorado, New Hampshire, Vermont. Other states also accepted this. And they gave the computer industry 5 years to become compliant. Basically, certain high-end gaming PCs, when they are idle or asleep, for those of you who don't know what vampire power is, that basically is when an appliance, people don't realize that when an appliance is plugged in, it is still drawing electricity. It just isn't using as much as, obviously, if it was turned on.
There's so many Buffy the Vampire Slayer things I wanted to do there, but I realized no one will get them but me, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it's okay. So basically, California and others put out a law saying, and you've seen this, you see the Energy Smarts with your washer and dryers and your refrigerators. If you go to a Best Buy, you see the larger scale appliances, you see those Energy Stars, those energy savers, right? That's basically where California, led by California, but also Colorado and other states, we're basically like, well, you know, we've done some research and we realize, especially these are states that, especially up for here in California, where power is at a premium, these devices can consume a lot of power when they're asleep. So they basically want to make them the next washer and dryer or refrigerator, which basically they are. Everybody has to have a computer in their home, just like the same way you have to have a fridge. And they want to make them energy conservant. And basically, most computer manufacturers, especially high-end computer manufacturers, have complied, and Dell forgot to. And so Dell had to have basically thousands of computers shipped back to them because when they got to California and they were inspected, they were not compliant or up to code. People think that this is... They're not coming for your computers, everybody. They're not coming for your computers. They're just trying to make them a little better. Actually trying to make the computers better, make them more energy efficient. So this was an interesting thing I thought this week. I think it's actually good because something that always grinds my gears is when the PC players out there who on internet forums calls themselves the PC master race, which makes me sick to my stomach. And you don't have to be the most casual of history buffs to know why that is. Why you would call yourselves that's red flag. Red flag. They're not coming for your PCs, guys. Relax. You're still gonna be able to build your own PC if you want. You're still gonna be able to get the great graphics. Get off of Destiny 2. Go read a history book. Stop calling yourself the PC master race and stop worrying about stuff that really isn't affecting you. That's the first video game story of the day. Lee?
Where to start on this one? Let me tell all you kids a story about something called Y2K. And on December 31st, 1999, at 11:59 p.m., we thought the world might end. And then it didn't. and we survive. Ray, a tremendous amount of Holocaust callbacks on that, which is funny and not funny at the same time. Yeah, anybody calling themselves the master race can't get behind that for multiple reasons. Just like people who get their Starbucks employee code tattooed on their body. Don't ever get numbers tattooed on your body, ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
and that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah. So calm down. Calm down, everyone.
Calm down.
Something that at least for that story. Here's things you can get riled up about. The Blizzard Activision story continues to unfold, and the president of Blizzard Activision
exploding.
Yeah. Yes. Because unfold and explode, and basically there were massive walkouts and protests. Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Activision, admitted that they completely botched how they handled that with their press release, and that they are trying to I guess to his credit, now they are trying to we are going to be at the forefront of equality and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's like you're too little, too late there, Bobby boy, who you can also see be the biggest jerk in Moneyball as the owner of the Oakland Athletics. That's true, by the way.
Is that him?
Yeah, the guy who plays the owner of the Oakland Athletics, who refuses to give Bean any more money to make trades during the trade deadline, is the same guy who currently is the CEO of Activision.
But not the president.
Right, but not the president. The president of Activision stepped down in response to all of this. And honestly, good. More heads should roll. Things need to be changed. There are people who have been working there for over a decade who have horror stories and could never find the right job to move on or go anywhere else or love the product so much. There's a lot of Call of Duty folks or a lot of World of Warcraft folks who love the game so much that they would deal with the horrendous abuse that they had to, and now they're finally got the power to speak out or feel they have the power to speak out. This is a horrendous situation, and it's still unfolding, and it's hopefully going to start changing for the better. And it's terrible that these folks had to deal with this for as long as they were dealing with it. And yeah, hopefully more heads roll, honestly.
Amazing that the gaming industry is keeping itself more accountable than Major League Baseball.
I guess that's one way to look at it. I mean,
again, look, not comparable reasons, but comparable actions. Yeah. Something went wrong, they took action. What's happening in the gaming industry is painful, but it's needed. It is a brick wall that had to be run through a long time ago. And as you said, Ray, heads will roll, and the gaming industry will be better for women and other people in that environment. And it's about damn time.
Yeah. And this actually happened yesterday too. The Fulbright company, for those of you who made the game, a game called Gone Home, also another game called Tacoma, very narrative-driven video game experiences. Their creative director stepped down yesterday, or is at least moved. They said moved to a lesser role on the project that he was on, or basically he's been isolated. He's been kind of removed from a project because he's also one of the co-founders of the company, so it's kind of hard to get rid of him altogether. But him too, for abuse of his team. Basically, they said not at the level of what Activision was doing. If you listen to the full reports, it really just sounds like the guy was absolutely a horrible, horrendous boss, absolutely the worst person in the world to work with, which can happen sometimes with creative individuals. But Steve Gaynor was removed from his position at Fulbright, which a company that he helped co-found, basically for being what people described as creating a toxic and abusive work environment. And so some people came out in defense of him a little bit. Like I said, some people came out completely threw him under the bus. The point is that, look, if you're a jerk, stop being a jerk.
Right. No, it's not hard, man. It's just scary for people. That's the sad part.
Yeah. I mean, look, trust me. Like I am the biggest jerk in the world. That's why I live alone and work alone. It's a bad joke. Sorry. Trying to bring levity to a terrible situation. It's how I handle uncomfortable things. I apologize, people.
Well, that was funny. That was very funny.
It's true. It's true. Anytime I get uncomfortable, I try to crack jokes. So, yeah. But that brings us now. Okay, some happy news as we're going to go do our mashup.
Oh,
Yay!
we're already at the end. Oh.
We're already there. We're already at the end.
Ray, should we do a quick Star Wars Mad Lib for the folks at home?
No Mad Libs today.
Ray, I need 8. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. We'll do that another.
I think the crowd has quieted down. So
they've been great. They've been here the whole time, man.
They have been. We appreciate you guys hanging out for the hour and a half.
Let me hear you in the chat. If you're still watching us, say hello or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, give us a hey.
Oh ho. We don't get no Joe. Anyway, Mashup. You guys are gonna love this part if you haven't seen our show before. We mash up a sports and geek taco together to make a delicious taco mix that you can eat.
I love tacos.
And yes, it's not like Taco Hell. It's like you go to an actual fancy Mexican restaurant where they make great tacos, and that's what the mashup is.
Nice, fantastic. King's here, Paulie's here. What's up? How's it going, folks? Who've been this is fun. Guys who've been quiet in chat are letting us know they're here. Hey, what's up? JJ's still here. That's fun.
And those of you listening to the broadcast, by the way, appreciate you as well. Didn't forget about.
Of course, if you're listening after the fact, we appreciate you guys just as much. And of course, if you're watching live, you want to catch up on previous episodes. GeekswhoLikeSports.com. Join the Facebook group. Join the Twitter, the Instagram.
It's a website.
Yes, that is the website, geekswhoLikeSports.com. But we also have a Facebook and a Twitter and an Instagram. So yeah, we appreciate it. There we go. We also have T-shirts. We have T-shirts. We have other merchandise possibly coming down the line. We appreciate everybody who supports us.
Is that automatically launched when someone just says T, or did somebody actually have to? Oh my God, it is.
Yeah. I had our good buddy Sean Fluster program.
What else can I make this do, huh? What else can I make this do?
So there's other, you have to do an exclamation point podcast.
For everybody listening, I'm just trying stuff on Twitch wow, look at that. So Twitch is not my normal broadcasting center. That's pretty cool.
Then there's exclamation point social, which is my personal stuff.
Oh yeah,
right.
Look at that. Selling himself on the internet. Weird, Ray.
Well, I mean,
should go to the dark web for that. Anyway,
hey, if I can make money on OnlyFans, I go to OnlyFans, but nobody wants to see this.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't want to see that. For those of you listening at home, we're almost done, so stay with us. If you made it this far, maybe you'll be willing to go a little bit further, like the end of Shawshank Redemption. Except the ending of this will be much more satisfying.
For sure.
That movie had a good ending. Say what to
also, if you do goodbye.
No.
There it is. Goodbye,
that's not lame at all. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
let me read that for the people at home. It says, "Goodbye, baseball."
Oh no! You want me to do it? You want me to do it how it's supposed to be done?
Fans want you to do it. If you want Ray to do it right, anyone say exclamation point. And, oh God,
they've already done it. Goodbye. My voice cracked there, but it's okay. We held on to it. So
nobody was complaining about it, right? Jeez.
No, you gotta be a sub to get it. You gotta be a sub to get the goodbye. Man.
What's up with that? I'm sub and I'm on the show and I'm a sub.
There you go. And yeah, also there's quotes. We've had some funny quotes from different video games. Usually New Game Fridays cause different quotes to pop up.
I'm being paid to be here, guys. So I sub. You should sub too.
There you go. So quote. There we go. Another quote. No, we're not in England anymore. We're in the present day. Obviously, from an Assassin's Creed stream in November. So yeah, we have good times. We have good times here on Twitch, but we also have good times here. Just me and Lee. Again, everybody listening at home, you should join us on Twitch sometime. But yeah, our mashup for the week: what Olympic competitions should be created for superheroes?
It's a great one.
It is a great one. Lee has done it again, folks.
I've done it again.
He is the master of the mashup. So Lee,
get that T-shirt made.
There we go. We've got Pod. We got Master of the Mashup Master.
The Master of the Mashup. It's like Masters of the Universe, but better.
Yeah. I have no interest in watching that. Did you
Me
watch
neither.
it?
No, I didn't. I know Kevin Smith made it. I respect him for making it. It never was into He-Man.
Nope, never. I was never a He-Man guy either.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It's a Gen X thing. Anybody that was born in the early 70s or mid 70s.
I was gonna say because that's an early 80s cartoon, right?
Yeah,
when we were starting
kids.
to come about, we were more G.I. Joe, Transformers,
Turtles. The first, like I remember G.I. Joe and Transformers, but Turtles was the first that changed my life kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's for me though, I think it was G.I. Joe then Turtles. Like even though like just because I used to, because for me too, you know why I used to watch a lot of G.I. Joe is because my grandfather was a big wrestling fan, and Sergeant Slaughter was the first real live person brought into G.I. Joe. which was a lot of fun. So here you go. And then you're playing with Travis.
that would be the one
quote. The perfect quote. So you guys don't know what the quote is. So Lee did a quote. I was playing with our buddy Travis, who of course is a part of the Blade Shades family and everything. And I quote, I said, Travis as usual, and wait. And just because he was not doing anything.
For those of you who don't know, Travis is one of my employees and very good friend, but he's one of my employees. So that would be the quote that I get.
Yes, that was
and
the perfect
screenshotted.
Quote.
Caitlin screenshotted it.
There you go. Send it to him. Yeah, the previous one was no family friendly tonight. We're gonna have some swears. That was playing Gears Tactics because usually the M-rated games I try to give people a warning because of obviously when we're doing baseball, it's I keep it G, I keep it E for everyone. That's another good one from Mega Man X. So for Mega Man X, okay, so because I feel like I need to explain some of these.
You do for the listeners. You got
to. So one of the quotes is, so here you'll see the boomerang is really useful because I'm gonna cut his arms off.
Hey, these are great.
That's from Mega Man X. There's only a few of them. There's only like
I think we've gone. I think we've cycled them now.
Yeah, the Mega Man X one. So for those who know, Boomer Kuwanger's weapon is used against Launch Octopus. We're gonna get really geeky here.
I actually know who both of them are. That's
So when you use Boomer Kuwanger's weapon and launch Octopus, even though the boomerang is not what he's weak against, it will cut his arms off if you hit him, I think, twice with it. Then you switch to Rolling Shield, which is his weakness, and then it's a much easier battle because Rolling Shield kind of bounces around. It's harder to hit him with it unless you get close to it. Then you get contact damage. I'm just saying this again.
Such a geek. Jeez.
Mega Man X, I have that memorized. That game is imprinted in my mind. I can still beat it in under 2 hours, even at 36 years old. And these fingers starting to hurt because I'm getting that old man arthritis now. It doesn't matter.
Not
Mega Man
old.
X.
Stop calling yourself old. Question for you though, Rick.
He's all
you know how Childish Gambino got his name from a Wu-Tang name creator online? That's a true story. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that. No, that's fun.
Childish Gambino was he just populated his name. But so again, for those of you who are younger, 20 years ago, we just had all these generators online that would create names for you. It was a big deal. And Wu-Tang had one. And Childish Gambino, also known as Danny Glover. Danny Glover?
Daniel.
Is that's how he got his name. Do you think that Launch Octopus got his name from the same generator?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they did that because they were trying to differentiate the Mega Man X bosses from the regular Mega Man bosses, which were Flame Man.
I'm clearly joking.
Okay. I wanted to make sure.
Clearly joking, sir.
There's people out there who might not know that
it's just you. As Ray takes a big swig of water.
Anything to help me talk about Mega Man more. And Handtucks just showed up late. Handtucks, we're almost done with the show. We just got to the mashup, but we're glad you're here, buddy.
Is it Handtucks or Han?
I always call him Handtucks.
There's a very, very important distinction between those two names. You're saying is it Handtucks or Handtucks? And sir, you need to phonetically spell your name for us to set this debate right now. Although Ray knows you, this is his channel. He can call you whatever he wants.
So I mean, he's never corrected me. So Handtucks, if it's Han like Han Solo, say it's like Han Solo. And first off, I'll be very embarrassed because I've been calling you Handtucks for literally over a year.
No, it's better to know the right way of doing it.
Yeah,
he might be a nice guy. He might
just say
ham. He got you right. Hand Tucks.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
It's a great name.
See,
I like ham.
He's a Boston fan, so which is where Lee will be going as soon as we wrap up this podcast. Not almost tomorrow, but
tomorrow.
Yeah,
but within 24 hours. I'll be close to there this time tomorrow night.
Fantastic.
Phantasmagoric.
Yeah.
Okay. The mashup. The mashup. We have gone off on so many tangents for the last 10 minutes. We're geeks who like sports.
Yes.
And the audience stayed with us. That's the key here. We really appreciate that, by the way, guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. I just call you. I just call JJ. JJ's now. Everybody's commenting on how I pronounce their names. So, what Olympic competitions should be created for superheroes? Lee, I'll let you kick it off.
Well, again, I don't have a strict answer for this one because I made this thing up just probably 20 minutes ago. But let's work through it together. You know what I mean? Let's work through it together. You have to think about, okay, what do heroes do that other people can't do? The first thing that comes through my mind is fly. So the question would be like, what kind of flying event would there be? And then Ray, this is how you know we're geeks who like sports. I thought that question, what kind of a flying events could we be? And then I started thinking of a course, and then I thought back to Superman 64, and it really
The rings
bothered me though. Yeah, I was like, oh man, it's a horrible memory. But yes, the rings. There could be something where you fly through the ring,
like an agility test kind
right
of thing.
Right. Like the thing is, I'm like, you got to stay away from things like Sonic the Hedgehog, who just wins every track and field meet. It doesn't count. So there'd have to be some flying events, right there for that. Then I'm thinking like you get a guy like Wolverine, like maybe we could go back to some gladiatorial events, but he'd probably win that very easily. And again, in the chat, if you have any ideas, make sure you talk to us.
I'm thinking something kind of like archery, but for like energy projectiles, right?
That
so
would
like
be awesome, wouldn't it?
Like laser vision accuracy, anybody, right? Like anybody who can shoot a laser beam, like Cyclops versus Superman in like eye laser archery,
Yeah, I went a little more deep cut. I'd be more like Cyclops versus his father, or his brother.
I mean, yeah, if you go for the Star Jammers for sure. But does his dad not have powers aside from being like a sharpshooter? Like,
well, I guess it's in the film. It's his cousin, isn't it? So I don't know. They go all over the place with that. So,
then there's Havoc, his brother.
Right. I was thinking Havoc. So anyway, I like the I-beams. That would be cool. I like that, using their projectile powers to as an accuracy test. That would be great. Stormtroopers would never win.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah. But I think the flying one, I'd like to see a flying competition where they have to go through rings and get get a GoPro on their head. That would be pretty cool to watch.
No, I think that would be interesting for sure.
I think you want to merge two things. I think there should be a Street Fighter bonus level car destructor thing, but like with the Hulk and the thing. That'd be pretty cool.
Everybody with super strength, how fast can you destroy this car? And it's literally everybody. It's like every world record is under. It's like the 100-meter race. Like everything's under 10 seconds.
Right. I'd watch that. I'd watch that.
Actually, I would watch that too. That would be a lot of fun. So, but we want to know what you think.
For the Twitch audience, we will do a post show here if you want to stick around. No worries.
That's a good idea. We'll do a 10 or 15-minute post show, but we will wrap up here. For those of you listening at home, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, it's geekswholikesports.com. Buy a t-shirt. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You guys know the deal. Thank you all so much. This has been episode 118 for Geeks Who Like Sports. For Lee, I'm Ray. Good night, everybody.